world of Discovery Kids.
Give it all that you got. Take your very best shot. Cause then you're right back at you for sure. Yeah.
Brian, we could spend the rest of our lives here. It's perfect.
Sounds good to me. Doesn't seem to be a thing wrong with this place.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is a Disney universe. Oh, but look how shiny my buttons are here.
Just push the...
Yeah, okay, I'll push the thing.
Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat, episode 21. I'm joined today by my friend. We've been trying to get this conversation going for a very long time, but I'm glad that you're finally on. Romelo, how you doing?
Hi, Brian.
It's been a while. I'm glad that we finally had this whole thing situated because we've been trying to have this podcast for like months, man. You know?
Well, basically. Well, technically 4 years, but you know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, you started off talking. You were about to say something about I interrupted you for a second there. You had something you were about to talk about.
Yeah, Channel Awesome.
Yeah, did I hear about all the stuff that went on over there? Is that what you were talking about? Yeah, I heard about that. It's interesting how quickly people have sort of just moved on from it. It happened, and then people just, you know, as normal for a lot of big incidents, people notice it, and then they forget about it, and they move on, you know?
Yeah,
it's very odd. But what I wanted to ask you was, you know, you've been in animation for a very long time. You do Blender animations. I think you are one of the first people that really got into it. So I just wanted to know, you know, from the very beginning, because your company is REJ Productions, and you know, you helped me out back on BGN, working on a couple of animations for that, intros for that. I was always thankful that you helped me out there. So I wanted to ask you about how you got started in Blender, that sort of thing. How'd you get into animation?
I got into animation when I was like very young. I had a lot of big inspirations and influences like Toy Story and John Lasseter. And I had Eric Goldberg as well for 2D animations and Richard Williams as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so that Pixar-esque nature really promoted the three-dimensional interest in going into Blender and that sort of thing, right?
Also Reboot, too. Reboot too, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been working on this I've been working on this script for Kids WB for a while for Attack the Block. Everyone asks about it. And it's really interesting how substantial entertainment has changed from where we were like 20 years ago when we were kids watching this stuff, you know, because back then, of course, you had to watch it on Kids WB, on stuff like that, and that's where you got it from. Now you can go Netflix, you can stream it instantly, you can do all of that. It's very different. It's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
20 years ago, we had to, if you want to see your favorite episode, you gotta pray that's on VHS and stuff.
If you miss it, you miss it, you know? Oh, man.
Yeah, you really have to pray that's on VHS.
Exactly.
Pray.
Yeah. You know, find one of those rare collections. Maybe if you were lucky, it would be at Blockbuster or a store, but probably not. You'd hope that the rerun was going to air again on that network.
Either that or record it, but, you know, who wants to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I could never get those VCRs to work right. You know what I mean? Like those VCRs always had just the buttons. You had to keep like trying to like how to record. It was always very confusing for me as a kid. So
it wasn't that confusing to me as a kid. It was just setting up the timer or the clock.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that confused me.
Right. Now, since you've really delved into 3D animation, what do you think of the fact that like American, at least American blockbuster films now, you know, whether it's Disney or DreamWorks, Illumination, Sony, which is Japanese, but still, they all dive into the CG computer generated animation for their movies. There's very little 2D outside of in American filmmaking. And what do you think of that? Because I think it's very unfortunate we lost that, but it is a changing time. We saw it coming with Chicken Little and then Balt, and now Disney is full in because after Princess and the Frog, there hasn't been another 2D animated film from Disney.
I suspect there's two reasons. One of them being that adults saw 2D animation as kid stuff, like in the 80s, they thought that.
Right, so they grew up with it, and so eventually they started to get, they evolved. They evolved, right? Essentially.
Yeah, and the other reason is that CGI can be so realistic, and also you can feel stuff, but you can also use real actors instead of make that stuff, which is probably much more expensive. But
what was that?
But you can also make those actors do whatever you want.
Exactly. Like one of the things that I never that I was so impressed with, at least, was at the end of Moana. Because Disney Animation, at least, has gone so far in their, at least in the CG department. You compare Chicken Little to Moana's hair strands, just like flowing so like clearly and so efficiently and smoothly at the end of that scene, toward the end of the movie. Very impressive technology, and we have gotten to the point where CG is now just, it looks better than, it almost looks as good or better at times than 2D, than the hand drawn classic films that we used to watch as kids.
Yeah, sure. Chicken Little nowadays is like a PlayStation 1 cutscene, but
True.
But at least at the time, it looked pretty cool. Well, no, it didn't, but
No, at the time it was the technology, right? I mean, you were right. I mean, it looked great for as the era was. Just like
across the stretch as it could be.
Yeah, like
style animation.
Right, like how Shrek. Shrek looks. You go back to the first Shrek. It's not jarring, but it's noticeable how old that film is now. Yeah.
As well as the movie Ants with a Z.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie looks a touch dated.
Yes, it does. Oh, very, very dated. It looks very dated. I think one of the things that hand drawn animation does, almost I'd say not better, but
ironically,
what's up?
The co-op, the competitive film Bugs Life, that's less realistic, looks much better than that film.
It's crazy, isn't it? Just like, oh well, Pixar was able to work that out. That's just how good Pixar is, right? Their studio just works so well on that technology that even then they just evolved past anyone at the time.
Sure, the company who made Ants also did that Muppets puppet thing. Walter A. Graphic. You may not know who he is, but if you look him up, you'll find out.
What did he make? I'm not knowledgeable.
What?
I'm not knowledgeable on it. What did he make?
Well, the Jim Henson Hour with the character Waldo A. Graphic.
Okay, gotcha.
And also the CGI Simpsons episode from the Halloween special. Simpsons to the Power of 3.
Yeah, so this stuff goes very deeply in the past, and they just developed that technology. They were trying to develop it and build it up into.
That company was called PDI.
No, PDI. Okay, I've heard of that a little bit. Yeah.
And they also made those weird Dreamcast commercials.
Yes.
In America, anyway.
Dude, you know who made the weirdest? Not to go off on a tangent, the PS3 launch commercials are some of the weirdest video game commercials I've ever seen. Man, they are so awkward.
Yeah, like the one with the baby.
Yeah, it's like, what Who thought of that? What is the point? What was the logic? I don't get it. But
I
no,
don't get.
what's up?
Well, also those squirrels as well. Like, I'm playing nut. Well, but I have a nut you can play outside.
Yeah,
Ah! What?
yeah. The one thing I wanted to also bring about was like the one thing hand drawn animation exceeds at over CG at the time, at least, is that it at least post 1990 it doesn't look very dated. Like you can go back, The Little Mermaid looks timeless because the animation, it just the art design, everything, it's timeless. It's a timeless film. Lion King is timeless, and you can compare that to the birth of CG, and you can tell that it's an evolving technology. You have to go back to like very early hand drawn animation to really see when it's still coming into form, early 1900s kind of animation. That's when it really was uh, trying to find its path.
Well, some say when things are, inked and painted on cells and stuff, it looks kind of dated. But when it's digitally inked and painted, it looks better.
Right, and that's what a lot of studios have also been doing in the 2D department as well. I think people also overlook the fact that there's a lot of technology that goes into like Miyazaki films. There's a lot of technology that's implemented in those films as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but you gave me some news a couple days ago about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's the more I keep seeing about it, yeah, except for the fact that Jim Carrey's there, the more that I keep seeing about it, the more I am just disappointed beyond belief.
Well, I'm kind of worried because I think it's going to be like one of those status quo live action character classic movies, like the Smurfs or Woody Woodpecker.
Oh, bro, it better be better than Woody the Woodpecker. Oh, no, 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 please.
Woody the Woodpecker tried to be Deadpool.
Oh, God, that
With
was
its fourth wall breaking and Garfield as well. Animal that can't talk, but he talks like everything else and stuff.
yeah. It's weird because these films make money. At least the Smurfs and Alvin and the Chipmunks. These properties that people keep wanting to revive into this live action CG style. They make money. Like people go out and watch them, but they're just utterly awful. They are.
Alvin and Chipmunks, I understand because they're cute and cute sells.
Yeah, cute sells. Yeah, I wish there was a story beyond cute.
Well, they tried to, and that movie was planned to be made by Universal with Robert Zemeckis directing it. But due to a lawsuit between Universal and the Bagazarian Company, they couldn't do so because Universal refused to promote them in theme parks and shirts and other things and TV shows. So they went to 20th Century Fox to do it.
So it was about the market. That's why they pushed out Universal.
Yeah, Universal didn't push out their market.
I'm surprised because I remember as a kid all of the attention that film got. That's a missed opportunity right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
That's very odd. Just as a film, this is a film that spawned like 4 sequels, and they passed on it because they didn't want to market it. Like, what?
The only thing they did was make like 3 directed videos movies, and that's pretty much it.
Oh no, didn't Shipwrecked? Didn't that get a theatrical release? And
No. I mean before that live action.
Okay, yeah.
Like they meet the Wolfman, they meet Frankenstein, they're babies or something.
Right. I mean, this is a property that had a TV show in the 80s, and then suddenly we're going to revive. We're going to have a couple of films, and then we're going to make a big live action CGI fest to try and revive the property, which it did. But
Yes.
then you have some. What's up?
Well, it is a very bare bones piece of paper property anyway. I mean,
You could do anything.
chipmunks. All you know is that they're chipmunks that are 1/3 of a human size, and they sing high pitched voices.
Yes.
You can just get any popular song, speed it up or high pitch it, and sell it.
Ta-da! You've got a hit. The end.
Yes, it's the easiest thing you can make marketable.
Right.
A
Even
5-year-old can make money off of that.
yeah, no, it's so simplistic. Some of these older '80s properties are so simplistic that it's like you guys are reviving things that really don't necessarily need to be revived, except for the fact that they have names. Like
Yes.
I remember Care Bears is a thing. Care Bears is actually a solid, show, but like they keep continuing it just because they're bears that care, and they all have their own individual traits.
At least that doesn't have a live action movie along with My Little Pony.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. Eventually their time will come.
Yeah, eventually. They're like finding all these old properties that people remember, even in closets and underneath the cracks of floors and stuff, saying, "Oh no, you ain't hiding. You ain't hiding. I gotcha. You're gonna be a movie and realistic."
Exactly. And now Sonic is here.
And pretty soon Mario.
Yeah, Mario too. Yeah, I did a cartoon chat with Mark and Justin on this. Did they say that's going to be a CG movie? I thought that was in universe. I thought they want to make a
live action movie.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be CG in universe, not live action. I thought that's what they said.
It is.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah,
it's all CG.
Right. And I'm confused why Sony, because of course, if you remember Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, dude, this thing has been around since when the PS4 was announced. This was back in 2013. They announced that thing. It was at Sony for a while. They kept talking about
hack.
What's up? I couldn't hear you.
The Sony hack.
Yeah, exactly. And then, they kept pushing it along. We kept hearing about the live action idea. It sounded awful. They didn't change it one bit. And then it got pushed to Paramount last year. And they didn't change it. I was so disappointed. I was like, you guys could change this and do something else with it, but Paramount just is keeping the same format and writers. I'm very disappointed. I wish that
the writers of Deadpool will work on it, and the producers of Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but it's still a lot. We're still looking at the traditional format of, we're going to go Smurf style. Let's see how this will. There's so much potential in the song.
If we're lucky, it might end up like Power Rangers, the movie. No, the recent one, not the.
That's true. I don't think I've ever watched that. Is that a good one? Because I've never watched it.
It's pretty good. They do improve on things from the previous show, such as the teenagers with attitude stuff.
Gotcha.
They actually do have attitudes and real life problems instead of perfect cookie cutter teenagers that care about the environment and exercise and stuff.
100% perfect, no flaws, everything's perfectly fine. We are, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but the one in the live action one, they have like autism, homosexuality, dying parents.
Right, like a little more depth than, the generic version. I think that you bring up a good point. There is a potential for Sonic to be good. I just think that, we've seen with like Sonic Mania Adventures that we can really make a solid film. We can make a solid film in universe.
Yes.
Or we can make a series in universe that's solid. Sonic has enough potential there. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your signal's breaking up. Could you say that again?
I'm sorry, it's just I have too many of these windows open.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, one thing that at least in the upcoming film slate that's interesting is there was a scene, and I think I talked about this already on another cartoon chat, but I wanted to get your thoughts. What what got you into animation in general? Like, not just like, what was the first show? Because I think that, you know, you have this background in doing a lot of CG stuff, but animation wise, like what shows really got you into it?
And
What was that?
anime.
Sorry, let me try this again. Your signal keeps cutting out here. Let me see. Again, this isn't live, so I'm not in any rush. If we can just get this fixed, that'd be great. But let me see what I can do here. Let me see. All right. Say something again.
Anime on those shows.
Yeah, Animaniacs is that was Animaniacs. People really don't. Animaniacs is a perfect example of how important programming is, because like you think about the fact that Animaniacs launched on Fox Kids, and then WB made their own network. They pulled it, got it on Kids WB. That was on Kids WB. At the same time, they spread it over to Cartoon Network after they acquired it. And this was just a massive force of a show because it was just so popular and so successful.
It was like, wow. Yeah, it was later put on Nickelodeon as well.
You said they were attempting to put it on Nickelodeon as well?
It was as well.
Was that before the acquisition of was that before WB's acquisition of Turner?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because they were trying to get that. The interesting thing behind WB is that they were trying to get back into cable after, of course, they sold Nickelodeon and a number of other networks to Viacom. So they had to get back in. They bought out Turner because Turner had cable holdings. So it's very funny that their competitor was once a company that they owned.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. But, you know, what's as of right now, I think one of my I think right here I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I have two situations here. Number one, I'm starting to get a little static on your end. It might be my end, I can't tell. But number two, I think we've talked about everything that we wanted to talk about. I want to have you back, and we're going to talk about more stuff in the future. Definitely going to have a roundtable with Mark and all of that. We'll have a good conversation, go from there. But you know, where can the people find you? What channels? What website? Where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook as well, REJ Productions, and YouTube Productions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Romelo James. Dude, thanks for being on, man. It's awesome to have you back. We've been trying to have this conversation for a while, and I'm glad that we finally got it done. Again, everyone, thanks for watching. This has been Cartoon Chat, episode 21. I'm Brian Swan. As always, you can subscribe to Animation Nation for more content like this, and stay tuned for more.